Hey y'all, it's Courtney here, and today's video is all about tiny little changes that you can make to either lose or gain weight, depending on what you're trying to do. Now, this video is really aimed at beginners. If you're an intermediate or advanced fitness person, or if you've done things like counted macros, done exercise plans, this is gonna be old hat for you. It's gonna be really boring, so probably skip this video. Basically, this is something that I like to call the small changes approach to fitness. It's nothing new, it's nothing exciting. It's just something that I think we've steered away from in the last few years because we have people who are pushing things like powerlifting plans, which is fantastic as a powerlifter. I would love more people to join my little fun club, but you don't have to join a gym. You don't have to count macros. You don't have to order, meals that are prepared for you. You don't have to do any of that stuff to lose weight, especially if you're someone who's overweight and looking to lose, 20 to 30% of your body weight because of, however much body fat you have. This is how I tell my friends and family to start their fitness journey. So there are two ways that you can change your energy in order to lose weight. The first is either move more. The second is ingest less calories. So starting with the first one being your food or your calorie intake, there are little things that you can do every week to really change your overall food intake. So for example, if you work in an office, there's probably once or twice a week, maybe even 3 times a week, that y'all go out and you eat something. Chipotle, for example, or maybe you get Chipotle once or twice a week. This is just an easy example. So change something in your Chipotle order to make it a little bit lower calorie. If you normally get a burrito, maybe switch it to a bowl, or if you just love the burrito, why not just stop getting certain things in it. So for example, if you take away like cheese, so say you get all of your normal stuff and you just say, I'm gonna skip the cheese this time. That can decrease about 150 calories depending on how much cheese you actually get on there. And again, it's people just picking it up and putting on there, so it's not a consistent amount of cheese every single time. But if you do that 3 times a week, you're decreasing 150 calories a day for 3 days, and that's decreasing how many calories you have over a week. And so that's a small little change that you can make. Another example is if you drink coffee or if you get a Starbucks drink in the morning, try and figure out how many calories are in it. If you drink your coffee black, this obviously isn't gonna apply to you, but small little changes like changing it from a Frappuccino to something else, or even changing the way that you sweeten your drink. So say you normally put a bunch of just sugar in it, maybe if you do like 3 packets of regular sugar, make one of those packets like a non-calorie, like a Splenda or something. So those are small little things that you can do if you're eating out or if you're getting things like coffee to decrease the amount of calories that you're taking in every day. Because if you're cutting, say, 100 calories a day off of your coffee in the morning, after 7 days, that's 700 calories less that you've ingested in a week. And that's without really doing anything super drastic. The other thing that you can do is, say you're someone who eats all of your meals, you prep all of your meals, try and figure out if you could do 1 or 2 small little things, like instead of a cup of rice, do half a cup of rice, little things like that, so that you're decreasing your calories without sitting there and having to count them out, without having to weigh your food. You're measuring it, but just little things like that can make a big difference. Now, on the other half of that equation, if you're trying to gain weight, because there are plenty of people who try and gain weight and they just don't feel like they can do it appropriately, do the opposite. So if you normally get a burrito bowl, switch to a burrito, maybe ask for full servings of rice as opposed to half servings, because at places like Chipotle, you can say like, I want a half serving of rice. That way, instead of the full scoop, they do the half scoop. So things like that you can add calories into your diet. And then even further on the other half of the equation, now we're talking about your exercise or how many calories you're burning in a day. So there's definitely exercise, things like going for a run, joining a gym, blah, blah, blah. But there's this other part of our activity that not a lot of people realize, and it's the non-energy or non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So this is everything you're doing that's not exercise that actually burns calories. So for example, we've got our basal metabolic rate or resting metabolic rate. That is how many calories we burn in a day just by sleeping all day. It's if we were in a coma, how many calories we would need to stay alive. Then there's everything above that. There's things like walking to and from your desk, brushing your teeth, all of those tiny little things that you're doing that will actually increase how many calories your body burns. So those are the non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And we can really tap into this for meaningful weight loss in quite a few ways. So they've done studies and they've shown that people who fidget, so if you have that friend who sits there and just can't sit still, they're always moving around, twitching, doing something, they burn up to 800 more calories per day, some like 500 to 800 more calories per day than people who are a little bit more sedentary or stationary. So like me, for example, I've never been a fidgeter, so I will burn less calories a day than like my sister who fidgets a lot. This can be really important because now we know that these small little changes that we make day to day can be really meaningful. So parking further away, if you feel safe, to walk to things like the grocery store, set an alarm for every 45 minutes. I do this at work because I sit and type a lot. So I have, a little Fitbit and I have it set so that every 45 minutes it tells me to get up and move. And so just get up, walk a lap around where you work, go to the water fountain and get a drink of water, walk to the bathroom, do something like that so that at least once an hour you're getting up and taking at least 100 steps. Things like that can be really important. Like I said, parking further away from wherever you're going if you can stand it. I know during the summer I don't do this because it's like 120 degrees outside and I'm not about to trek halfway across a parking lot just to burn an extra 20 or 30 calories. But, take your dogs for a walk. Little things like that we can increase how much we move in a day without necessarily having to exercise. Because if you think of it this way, say you're burning 100 calories more a day because you're taking those extra few laps around your work, and then you're consuming 100 less calories a day because you've taken out a certain food item. Now you have 200 less calories, or you're burning 200 more calories, or you're 200 more calories in a deficit than you were the day before. And then that's going to help you have some weight loss there. So these are small changes because let's be real, not everyone wants to learn how to track their macros. Not everyone wants to count macros. Not everyone wants to join a gym and do a ton of crap. Like, some people just don't want to do that. Not everyone wants to be an athlete or a bikini competitor or any of that. Some people just want to lose 10 to 15 pounds. And so by making these small changes, you can really change a lot about, how much weight you're losing a week. And that's pretty much it. I know, like I said, if you've done fitness before, this is pretty boring for you. And this may not be revolutionary to a lot of people, but I think it could be really helpful. And like I said, it's where I usually start with my friends and family. I say, look at your diet, see if there's some things that you can remove daily or 2 to 3 times a week that have a lot of calories. If you're a beer drinker, drink lower calorie beer, switch to like clear alcohols, things like that. That can make a huge difference. And then you don't have to worry about doing all this crazy shit that you see people do on the internet. As always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.